the ADR took their case to the federal court. As far as venue, were they able to establish ownership of lands through the grants, through the treaties?
That I don't know.
Sonically, the ADR was a case that went all the way up against Mexico to recover money that were given to Mexico on behalf of the land grant family.
You're talking about the Treaty of Guadalupe?
And what happened there is that they lost because the federal courts had no jurisdiction to give a judgment against another country. But what did they establish? They established venue for grants? I'm not sure.
Would you be able to answer that question, Jerome?
I could try.
You can come up here.
I could go here.
All right. He can answer that question for you.
I was looking at venue, maybe something has been established for venue.
Well, I'm not an attorney, but the venue, you're correct. You know, if we have to go outside of our borders for to a first solution, we'll have to go to the Hague Court or one of the other courts that have venues. So that's one of the problems. You know, the two countries one line with Joe Sierra and them have been looking at some of the issues with how money exchanges went between the United States and Mexico. And then, as somebody mentioned earlier, that during the war, World War II, I think it was, with Germany, where the Germans were trying to negotiate with Mexico to try and basically for the oil. And so, and then in New Mexico, we're from New Mexico, a lot of Germans came in to help for mining. And so, as far as your original question, it's really hard to say. I think that from a New Mexico perspective, our land grants are communal land grants versus individual land grants. And so think of unifying all of the families together to have a communal approach to what you're doing. So we have, 83,000 acres in our land grant, for example. It's a federal boundary patented under Theodore Roosevelt in 1905, right before the Enabling Act of New Mexico. And so New Mexico is just a little bit different. I'll be talking in a few minutes as well. And so I just think that if you exhaust all of your remedies in the United States, you always have the international court to go to.
I see the families going through the state, and my thinking is it possible we could start at the federal courts right now?
I could give my opinion of that.
All the families.
So, I think that...
That's a legal question.
Well, we can still have an opinion of what the Constitution says and what we can do. So, what we've researched is that in New Mexico, when the federal obligations transferred from the territorial days to statehood, the United States transferred responsibility of the treaty and other provisions as human, citizens of the United States to New Mexico, and so they adopted those. So in Texas, I'm not sure exactly, I'd have to do a little bit more research myself, but at some point, the United States allowed Texas to be a state, and then there was some provisions in there, and so you'd have to do the research to understand what the technical version was of that, and how they treated, back then they called it allocated and unallocated lands, and then allocated lands were not part of the homesteading, so I'm not sure if any homesteading occurred in Texas or not under the